arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, all the way that procession to Kasarani Stadium for, the public viewing of the body. A lot happened. How does that define, how do you define that for you?
It was unprecedented because, number one, this is a leader who is really loved by many people. He's an enigma. And therefore, everyone expected to welcome him. And because of the short time that was there, the security forces would not have had enough time to prepare. I was expecting that, people would line up from the airport all the way up to the Lee Funeral Home by the roadsides, just to welcome him. But because there was no proper communication, people decided to go to the airport. And I saw that they breached the security and they got into the airport and even up into the plane. It was not a very good show, despite them being loving that our Prime Minister. It was not a very good show internationally and even nationally, because as you know, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is an international airport with a high level, high class, and that's why we were able to. As Kenya, we really struggled very hard to have a direct flight from Kenya to America, for example. By breaching that security, the international aviation might reconsider that, but we're just praying that they don't reconsider that.
All right.
Because these were an armed civilian getting into the airport. So you can imagine if there's an armed force getting in.
Let's talk about that for a minute,
Yes.
because you see, for an outsider, it has, like you put it, it might have been a very not good show, but for the people that are inside this particular country, the people that have followed Raila Odinga's political journey, the people that have followed him on the streets when he says Tuesday is Tuesday, that particular moment.
It was a good show. They showed a lot of love. Actually, even me, if I was around, I would have just gone there. The only issue that I have is the breach of the security. But it was a good show. They showed a lot of love. And even for me, if I was around, I would have just gone there. However, maybe even as they go to Kisumu, it is good to advise the public that even if you're not able to come, like now what I'm expecting tomorrow, as he's taken to Bondo, I'm expecting people to be on the roadside, waving at the casket as it passes, showing the last respects, as opposed to crowding in one place, and then tear gas has to be lobbied and all that. So I'm just asking Kenyans to, as much as we really love our Prime Minister, it is good to show him the last respects. You remember, he missed a very important occasion yesterday, or Kenyans missed a very important occasion of the body of Raila Odinga laying in state at Parliament. It's a very high level of respect. It is only done to presidents. He was not able to get that. I'm hoping that maybe within their own arrangements, they still have him get into the Parliament, lie in state for maybe a few other guests to come and see him there. Maybe the heads of states will be visiting, international, and other people who are not able to view the body yesterday. That is a very, very important event in the history of this country. Remember, the people who have laid in state house, in the Parliament, are accountable. We have Jomo Kenyatta,
Daniel
Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki. Who else?
Just the heads of state.
Now it would have been Raila Amolo Odinga. We lost that opportunity, and I'm hoping it's not going to be lost. I'm hoping within the short period they have, at least he'll have time to go. They'll have some time for him to lay in state, even if it's for an hour, for him to go into the chronicles of history. As I'm counting those ones, he should be counted among those ones. Yes.
How do we remember him moving forward in terms of, you are in the political scene.
Yes.
What kind of role do you think he played in the political scene that will go down in history as one of the greatest politicians that we ever had?
I think when we look at the freedom fighters of this country, the pre-colonial freedom fighters, we remember the likes of Jomo Kenyatta, the Kapenguria seats. Raila is the post-colonial freedom fighter of this country. Remember, after we got independent, there's somebody who wrote a book, It's Not Yet Independent. So Raila brought in, as much as the yokes of the colonialism went away, we still had neo-colonialism perpetuated by the African leaders who were in the place. And that's why we saw issues like dictatorship came in. There was a lot of corruption, land grabbing, and all that. So he stood up, among others, to fight for that. Post Tomboya, he came in. And that's why you see he fought so hard for the repeal of the constitution when Kenya was a one-party de jure state. Raila really fought hard that we have a multi-party, and he paid the price for that. He was detained without trial, he was jailed, and he was tortured. Just the same way the Mauma were being tortured. He was tortured by our own leaders. He was able to succeed, together with others, the likes of Matiba and others, to make Kenya a multi-party democracy. Yeah. Thereafter, we know him also fighting for devolution, the kind of governance that we have, which was a radical change through the change of the constitution of 2010. We saw him fight for it, and therefore the kind of governance that we have right now, the devolution system, it is courtesy of Raila Amolo Odinga. He had even gone further. He wanted to amend even what we had so that counties could get more funds and more resources than what is rightly here now, which is 15% of the GDP. So I can say he has really fought, and I can remember him as a selfless leader, a person who would lay down his ambitions for the sake of the unity of this country and stability of this country. Remember in 2007, after they disputed the elections between Kibaki and himself, Raila was able to say that the country is bigger than him, and therefore he agreed to form a government of national unity with Kibaki, where he became the prime minister. That he gave his ambition down. Come 2017, yes, again, the elections were also disputed. You remember we went for even second round, which he never participated. And again, he did not allow chaos to reign in this country. He also gave his ambitions down. And the other one is just the recent one of 2022. If you look at the margin that the current president won, I think it was only 200,000. Yeah, 200,000. Meaning that Raila also commanded, like, they were like 50-50. Yeah. If you look at 200,000 percentage among within the total votes cast, it was like 0 point something. But he considered and said, Kenya is greater than him, and that's why now he had to consider and accept the results, even though the Supreme Court, he could not agree with the ruling, but he said he respected the ruling. Then we see him now again last year during the Gen Z 2024 riots, which were very intense, and they were putting this country in a very dangerous place. Because remember that time, we did not have an IBC. So even if the current government would have said we are resigning or we are stepping down, like we have seen in other areas, there was nobody to conduct a fresh election. And therefore, he stepped in. Most of us did not agree with him. Even me personally did not agree with him. But when you look at the bigger picture later, you see he had a point. This country would have gone into the dogs and all that. So he's a person who has been selfless all through. And that's the kind of a leader that I know him. On the political side, working with him one-on-one, I vied for MP position in Nakuru Town East last time, in Jubilee, which was... So you were in the Azimio coalition? Which was in the Azimio coalition. Yeah. I was actually the chairman of Azimio in Nakuru County. And we interacted a lot with him. So I can say that it's somebody I've known even at the political level.
So what kind of person was he during your interactions?
Raila, I met Raila in 2014, I think 2015, yeah. I think after the elections, yeah, 2014, it was the end of 2014. And this is how I came to meet Raila. After the 2013 elections, which were very hotly contested, there was a lot of animosity between ODM and Jubilee. You remember that time, eh? And then, so we were not seeing eye to eye, you know,
because of
the two parties, because of the division brought about by the elections. And then it happened that there was a graduation ceremony in Maseno University. During that graduation ceremony, Raila was present and Uhuru Kenyatta was also present. So as I was watching, of course through K24, I saw these two gentlemen, you know, laughing. They seated next to one another, you know, laughing and, you know, chatting and laughing. And I was like, aye, we guys here are not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
And I can see these gentlemen it's like now they've buried the hatchet. Yeah. So I looked for my late friend, George Oduor. He was his aide, the one who passed. Yeah. So I told him I want to see Baba. He asked me why. At that time I was a CEC for roads in Nakuru. I just want to see Baba. So he arranged for me for an appointment at Serena Hotel. So I went there, and Baba gave me 2 hours. I remember the likes of Akida Junet were waiting for him somewhere there at the corner. And they were wondering, who is this person who is speaking to Baba? So Baba is that person who could give an ear to each and every person. And I told him that I was very happy, and I would have wanted that they continue working like that with the president. You know, that only brought a lot of unity, and there's a lot of sigh of relief. And he laughed, you know, you just could laugh. But he gave me a lot of stories. He was a very good storyteller. Very, very good storyteller. He told me about Russia, he told me about Germany. It's like somebody you have stayed with him for like 10 years, but I had only met him for like one hour. So people will tell you that Baba was not even assuming anybody's call. The moment he sees your call, if he's not busy, he'll pick it. If he's busy, he'll call later.
He'll call later.
Was speaking to people, a lot of people. Then we continued the friendship, of course. Now, that's the first time I met him, and then you can see during the political time. Yeah. So I want to say, early this year again, I traveled to Kisumu to go and bury my friend George. So when I arrived in Kisumu, I did a message to Baba. I told Baba, I have come for the burial, so just know I'm around. Then he replied to me at around 4 in the morning. He said, the burial is not tomorrow. That was a Friday. The burial will be on Saturday. However, if you're in Kisumu, come to my home at Riyadh. So I went at Riyadh in the morning. We had breakfast there. And there's something that Baba said, without any offense to anyone. Baba said that our communities, let me talk now generally, not about the Luo community. We spend a lot of resources on funerals. And we keep bodies for so long and spend a lot of resources, you know, a lot of lavish spending and all that during funerals, which is affecting the economy of our communities. Meaning, people have to borrow, others have to, you know, just to finance that kind of thing. And he was not happy. And he said, actually he gave us a story, as I've told you, he's a storyteller. He said, in the past, long time ago, Luos, if you die in the bush, they used to bury somebody just at the bush there. If you die at home, they were not even keeping people for long. That, according to him.
So the moment you die, you get buried.
You get buried. But now it has changed. And he was complaining because all of a sudden he had been told to, you know, to finance a very big dome tent and all that, which was costing a lot of money. And even that morning he told me, I have just given out 2 million shillings.
For the burial of George Oduor?
Yes. Okay. Extra, he had already done a lot, but now that morning, he had already, that request came, and you see the burial was like for tomorrow.
So of course.
Yeah, so he said, as we're just having breakfast, me, I would not want to have my burial delayed like that. Although he did not mention to us the hours he had said, but
he just
he
said
indicated,
he
indicated he would not want
period of mourning.
that prolonged period of mourning, that lavish spending and all that. So after that, of course, he told me to go to the airport and receive George's body, which I did. And he excused me that even if I don't go for the burial, I'd already done my part. Wow. So Baba is that kind of a person.
So you say that the aspect of 72 hours when it comes to the period within which he would have he prefers to actually be interred is something that it's related to the economic aspect of it, and also just him as a person in what he believed in. Yes. And that's based on the story that you're actually telling us this particular morning. I
think so, and I think he wanted to be like an example. Mm. He wanted to be like an example. My take, because that's what he believed in. He really admired the Muslim, how they do their things.
Okay.
And he felt that these lot of pomp and all that, issues during funerals, it was not his kind of game. Mm-hmm. So I'm presuming, just an hypothesis, maybe he decided to do that so that people can see, oh, even if a king can die and he can be buried within this short period, mm-hmm. who am I to
do 2 weeks?
I mean, to be extended for like 2-3 weeks, 1 month. Yeah. And I believe you'll see a change. Okay. In many communities, not only in the Luo community, mm-hmm. in many communities, you will see a change. Remember, even Ogola had said that, the CDF, mm-hmm. the late CDF, he even indicated that. So I want to assure you that, whatever is happening will impact on the community. It will impact on the community. They'll start now rethinking mm-hmm. the way they, and not only the Luo community, but all the Kenyan communities.
Nation. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've spoken largely greatly about Raila Odinga and his interactions with you, and of course, learning a lot with that, with the kind of stories that you guys had, and also shedding some light on why 72 hours. Because some people are like, for a man like Raila Odinga, we need proper time when it comes to mourning him. 72 hours is not enough. And you see, Mobi and I were talking there and, trying to figure out whether there's going to be an extension of time based on what we've been able to witness of late. Yes. But now let's look at, because, you spoke to him, he guided you in 1 or 2 things. Did he mentor enough, of young people to be able to take political leadership in the coming days?
Yeah, as Mombi said, I think Baba has mentored many people, but he did not point that this is my preferred successor. Mm-hmm. And probably he had his own reasons. It is very dangerous sometimes when you point and say this will be my successor. And then, of course, no one would name a successor. Everyone would want to live for as long as it is. Yeah. The moment you name a successor is like you've retired from politics and all that. So I can say he has mentored so many of them. Mm-hmm. The likes of Sifuna, the likes of Babu Wino. Most of these politicians, they are courtesy of Baba. Mm-hmm. Very few of them are actually, independent. Although even the independence also at one point came to depend on Baba. Mm-hmm. Look at Orengo is also a very seasoned politician, but at one point, mm-hmm. Without Baba, he had to be shoved aside a bit.
Okay. Just a moment, of course, what you're seeing on the screen are leaders who are waiting for the arrival of the body of that is Raila Odinga. Of course, the leaders are in Parliament buildings. You can see Homa Bay Governor, that is Gladys Wanga, of course, Member of Parliament Millie Odhiambo. We can also see Gladys Boss Sholei, among other leaders there, waiting for the arrival of the body of Raila Odinga at Parliament buildings. And of course, we also have Chief Justice Martha Koome there, having a conversation with Homa Bay Governor, that is Gladys Wanga, during this particular period. Okay. So, what would you say is the impact of Raila's demise in the political scene from where you sit moving forward?
From where I sit, I want to assure you there is going to be a lot of political realignment because, you know, Raila was like a glue in ODM party. Remember, there had been some splits of ideas, the young generation, that is Sifuna, Babu Wino and the like, but Baba could bring them all together. I don't know who is going to be able to have that kind of a glue effect in ODM. Remember also there was a group that supported the broad-based government, and there is another one that does not support that broad-based government. So moving forward here, there's going to be a lot of shifting and realignments. Maybe time will tell, but I want to assure you, by the demise of Baba, even the politics of this country is going to really be shaken. So
is that reset to some extent in the political scene?
Yes,
not sure. Just the ODM party, right?
Not just the ODM party. No, it's a whole reset. Remember, this government is there courtesy of, you know, Baba.
Okay.
And not at the ODM person, Baba as a person, because Baba would whip all these ODM people into government and tell them to support the government. I am yet to see who has that capacity to whip ODM as one and follow one route. So it is something very interesting to watch ahead here. Okay. Very, very interesting. Because
I want to ask you something, because initially when you were speaking, you mentioned he was a selfless leader, and that comes with his setting aside of some of his ambitions politically, you know, for the bigger picture, if we call it that way. We say that happened in 2007 when he decided to have that the government of national unity. In 2017 when people were taking to the streets, then we saw them at the steps of Harambee House actually having a handshake with former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Then just recently, of course, with President William Ruto, people that had said initially they will never work together, but now coming together and be like, okay, the nation is greater than all of us, and it needs to actually, you know, than an individual, I beg your pardon, and we need to make sacrifices for the betterment of the country, and he did that. What do we learn, you know, moving forward, for any young politician in the political scene who wants to pick a thing or two from the man Raila Odinga himself? What do we learn from him?
Number one, things are changing. Things are changing. From last year when you saw the Gen Zs coming up, generations are now changing. In Kikuyu, we call it Itweka. You see, when leaders, you know, pass over or pass on, it is a generation that is going. And you will see other new people coming up. One thing I take from Raila is, by him embracing the young generation, it means he was handing over the baton. And when you look at all these faces, you can see even every time in government, it's the only new faces being reappointed into positions. It is, you wonder, somebody has already made 4 billion shillings. He's already a rich man, isn't it? And he's given a cabinet position. What is he going to do with that cabinet position? There is a young man who was promised, there is a Mama Mboga who was promised, there is a Boda Boda guy who was promised that this government will be for Boda Boda. Why don't you give that guy, and that guy has the motivation to run up and down, to work for the people of Kenya. But what is a 4 billion guy worth going to do to government? He's just going to, you know, enrich himself more. Actually, for the first time, and I was thinking aloud last night, I think Raila Odinga, even in his death, he has made some people work. Are you getting me, Brian? He has made some people now do really work. These cabinet secretaries and MPs and who went to get him to India, they had not slept, isn't it? They did not sleep, isn't it? And they were actually at the Kasarani. That's the first time these cabinet secretaries have just worked, real work.
Around the clock.
Around the clock. And that's why you could see them, they're very tired. I wish they will have the same effort working for Kenyans. So in another way, even in death, Raila has told them, can you work for Kenyans? Can you work the way you're working? Yeah? So I'm seeing a shift, only that I'm a bit disappointed that the generation that's supposed to take over and that's supposed to facilitate change, that's a Gen Z, is not even taking voters registration, is not even registering as voters. So as much as they say they want a regime change, they want to change the way things are done in this country, the power is in the ballot, and they are not registering. Last time I looked at one of the updates, weekly update, it was only 20,000, and
about 23,000. Yeah.
IBC was expecting to register by the end of this registration phase 6 million
6.3
Kenyans, and I don't see them going to register. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's because of Kenya we have a culture of last-minute rush.
It could be. So I think the final tally will actually get to determine.
But what I want to tell them is that they should come out and register in large numbers if they would want to see a change of even faces in government. Yes. If they would want to see another government that has the face of the Gen Z, the Mamamboga and all that. Not that I'm using that as it has been used, it has been misused.
Okay.
But I'm saying if they really want to see change, then they should register.
Okay.
And I'm encouraging them to come out and register in large numbers. That way, I believe they would have honored the fallen hero who has always advocated for their leadership.
Okay. Yeah. Talking about honoring Raila Odinga, and you know, we've mentioned his legacy in terms of what he believed in, what he championed for. Talking about the father of democracy, he championed for democracy, the face of the second liberation in the country, the father of devolution, you know, following the 2010 constitution, his political journey and the people that he's been able to hold, somebody that has been very selfless, like what you put. How do we get to honor this man as a nation, you know, even the state itself, in the long run, and just say, now, this is how we get to honor Raila Amolo Odinga?
Thank you. I'm happy that, number one, we have honored him in his death by declaring a 7-day mourning period, by you know, hoisting our flags half-mast, and by declaring today, 17th, a public holiday. But today is just one day. We would want, and I said it yesterday somewhere, we would want his legacy to remain. And someone's legacy to remain is by declaring a day in the national calendar as a holiday. Why don't we make 16th of every year a national holiday in honor of Raila Odinga? Of course, our Katiba does not allow us to name Raila Odinga Day. Yeah. But you can call it any other name. You can call it Democracy Day, you know. Maybe we have experts who can come up with an appropriate name. Okay.
That is in line with.
Remember, we have the former Moi Day, which was declared Mazingira Day. Now we want a day where we can be reminding our people about democracy, values for devolution, you know, the rule of law, and we shall be remembering this is the man who fought for all this. He fought for multi-party. Not only him, together with Akina Matiba and all those people who fought for that. We have a day where we can, of course, people will start arguing about economics and all that. Yeah. But we have a day which, it's not a mass that we do a parade, you know, at the Nyayo Stadium, isn't it? But we know that this day is for us to remember where we have come from as a country. You know, we have an Independence Day where we remember we came from colonialism. But we should also have a day in honor of Raila and other leaders who fought for the second liberation of this country. That would be a befitting honor. Another thing is this country should also create and you know, construct a museum in honor of these people who fought for the second liberation. Okay. When you go to a national museum, you'll see the likes of Jomo Kenyatta and the history of Kapenguria. So the same, we should have a museum where if I want to learn the history and the works of Raila Odinga together with the others, I can go there. Maybe even open up the Nyayo torture chambers down there. We also have a look at what kind of situations they were in. Okay. We were told they were in the basement there. There was a lot of water, you know, so that our generations don't repeat the same. Okay. Because it's like the more we change, the more we remain the same.
Now, let me ask you: Are we somehow repeating the same from where we sit? Because this is a man that, for so many, days of his life, has been fighting for the rule of law, issues to do with justice. He's been tear gassed, arrested to some extent, like you put in detention and all that. And yet, at this particular time, we still get to see the repetition of that. Are we really learning from history, or are we just repeating itself?
To me, as I've said, the more things change, the more they remain the same. You see, if you get a leader who does not ascribe to the ideas and the tenets of the Constitution, then there's going to have a way of circumventing. Like, for example, the issues to do with abductions. How and why, at this age, should our young men and women be abducted? In fact, it is said, even the colonialists never tortured or abducted, young people. They were looking for Mau Mau. Mau Mau were adults, So it's like we're even getting worse. And my prayer is that we go by what is in the Constitution, rule by what's in the Constitution. Because you don't know, tomorrow it might be you on the other receiving end. Yes, it might be you on the other receiving end. People might vote and maybe vote you out. Or even if you, I remember there's a case, I want to give you a situation like the Philippines. Are you aware that Duterte, you remember that president? Yeah. He was very ruthless on the drug traffickers, yeah, and drug addicts. And he used to, he's in the ICC right now. Actually, he's in custody in the ICC. And that particular time in Philippines, if you would have told Duterte that one day you're going to answer for whatever you're doing, he would have laughed after you. Actually, he would have even killed you again. But today, that man is languishing at the ICC. Very powerful president. He was actually the most powerful president at one point in Asia, in Asia, the Philippines. So what I'm saying, do the right thing, follow the Constitution, stop these abductions, stop the killings. There are ways of handling these young men and women. I mean, Uhuru Kenyatta was there. The abuses were still there. Twitter was there. Facebook was there. Instagram was there. Maybe what had not grown so far was TikTok, isn't it? But we never saw anyone, being subjected to what is being done right now to our young men and women. And you see, the more you do that, the more you don't even stop them. It is actually, you're emboldening them to continue doing whatever you're doing. I've been told there are some laws that have been passed that were assented to the other day. I've not been able to read, but one of the laws, I think, is the cyberspace amendment, which you already have that law. I don't know what kind of an amendment that has been put. I'm just hoping Kenyans, because in Nepal, you saw what happened. The freedom of speech in that country. I would not want. I hope the amendments do not touch on the freedoms of expression, both in the cyberspace and all that. So yes, Raila's demise will really change a lot of things in this country.
Okay. I want us to talk about his health journey and what we've been able to see, and whether we were given the correct updates as a nation in regards to this particular figure. Denying that particular allegation and all that, and suddenly we are told that, by the way, the former prime minister is dead. He's a man that, in most cases, has always been very open with his health. And most, getting photos from hospital and all that. But this particular time, this was somehow different. Well, Kenyans denied information.
Yeah. Baba has been very fit, physically fit. For those who have maybe what I had, from my friend George, Baba used to do gym, he used to practice a lot. And he's largely been healthy according to me. These other details they just emerged the other day.
Yeah.
And whenever he would be sick, I think he would say. So this time, actually, as you say, it was a bit surprising that there were speculations that he's not well. You remember, speculations started when they postponed the ODM at 20 in Mombasa. That's when now speculations are coming in. And so there was denials. The point towards the very last time, very few days before, again, to come and speak to the people. So the heart attack can occur at any one time.
Yeah.
So if someone gets a cardiac arrest, it's a sudden death. And according to the reports that we got and what the doctors say is that as he was walking, he collapsed and he had a cardiac arrest. So who are we to deny that report? If the family has, and has even confirmed, because they say that the daughter was there. So to me, I don't think we need to interfere so much with whatever has been said and actually what has been said by the family.
Okay.
Yeah, so may I accept that as a case, because we could be speaking with you right here the next minute.
Anything happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it will not happen to you anyway. I'm praying so.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kenyans, everything has a reason. Everything has a reason. Even if somebody goes and sits below a construction, a block, it was his negligence. So for this time, I think we have been given the reason and we should just be contented with that reason.
All right. I want to pick your mind on the issue to do with devolved units, because you mentioned he was somehow the father of devolution, fought for the 2010 constitution, saw its birth. The kind of leadership that we have right now and the kind of governance that we have right now is somehow thanks to him, because he was part of that particular process that midwifed the 2010 constitution and now being championed as the father of the devolved units.
Yes.
If we were to honor this Right Honorable Raila Odinga moving forward, as far as devolution is concerned, what are some of the things that you believe we could actually put in place to ensure that devolution actually gets to survive, in honor of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga? And what actually should counties be doing properly to honor this man that we say brought this about?
As you rightly put, what should county be doing? I think the first thing, Raila did not envisage a devolved structure that devolves corruption. He envisioned devolved development. So the first thing that should be done to honor Raila Odinga, all the governors who might be listening to me, is to curtail corruption in their counties and channel the funds towards the right development that is required for the people. Remember, something like health is a devolved function. Right now, people are dying because of lack of maybe medicine in some counties. I'm not saying all of them are bad, but I'm just saying, let them honor this man by doing the right thing. I'm not telling them to do, statues, because that will be, again, misuse of public funds. Let them just honor by looking at what thought did he have when he championed for devolution. and they do what is supposed to be done, what is correct. And number one is to curtail corruption in the counties. Should Raila wake up and find that corruption is no more in the counties, and even in the national government, I think he will be a very happy person. He has been fighting all throughout his life. He's been fighting corruption. Yes. So I think that would be the biggest honor.
Okay.
Yes.
We've been talking. You're talking about the issue of corruption. We've been talking about the issue of funds, increase of funds when it comes to county allocation, and also he's been a champion of that, saying that counties should actually be added more money so that we are able to see proper functions actually being delivered to the people and all that. What do we say to that? Would that be one way of getting to honor him, that we ensure that counties are properly funded?
Yeah, that's good. I think he has been a champion that counties get more resources, and he's been arguing very, very openly that why should the ministry, say, of health, which has or controls 4 hospitals, that's the teaching and referral hospitals, get so much billions, yet the counties get so little in terms of the health budget. So I agree with you that one of the ways to honor him is to increase the funding to the counties, devolve the funds from the ministries to the counties. Another thing is NGCDF.
Okay.
You see, Raila had put his political ambitions and career on the line when he openly said that MPs should not control or should not have NGCDF, and that money should be given to the counties because the functions that they are performing are county functions. And it did not augur very well. Actually, I think it is the last function they had at State House with the MPs. It is true. The work of MPs or their functions are 3: to oversight the national government, to legislate, and to represent the people. Those are the 3 functions according to the Constitution. And you see, we have what we call separation of powers. So the legislature cannot perform a function of the executive, even if it is building schools which are in the national government. It is supposed to be the work of the executive to do that, of course, through the ministries. Yeah, the same happens. They should not come and perform functions of the county government because these are 2 distinct governments. Yeah. So he was right. That's what our Constitution says. But
it was an unpopular comment to some extent, because there's another faction of the political class that doesn't seem to agree with that. And we say it is the right thing to do, but why are we not seeing that being done?
That's another virtue that Raila Odinga had. It must not be popular, as long as it's factual, and is the correct position, and it's lawful. So among all the virtues we are talking about, Raila was not going by popularity, that let me accept this or do this because it is popular with the people. He was biting the bullet and standing with what is right, what is lawful, what is constitutional. And that's why he had to say this. And even when he entered into the broad-based government, it was not a very popular move.
You said you did not agree with that.
Me personally did not agree with it. But nevertheless, he did that, isn't it? So that's another virtue that Raila Amolo Odinga had. And actually, Kenya is very short of this kind of people. The number of people who will not do things are very